get ready for the season. Q13 Sports Director Aaron Levine, Sports Reporter Michelle Ludtka, and joining us from 710 ESPN is Jessamyn McIntyre. Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. First off, I just want to get to what are we going to expect tomorrow when the teams play?
Well, personally, I am really excited to hear kind of what head coach Pete Carroll was saying there. The rookies, they're really approaching this whole training camp different than they had in the past couple of years. I mean, the past couple of years, it's been a whole team effort. But specifically this year, Pete Carroll brought in the rookies on the first day that they were allowed to report to training camp. And he's saying this is really for them. This game is for them. It's their first time to actually physically tackle, full tackle, and all of that, and get the excitement of the noise and the crowds and the 12s and everything. And I'm excited to see the rookies show out and have that first experience.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what you were saying, this preseason is all about the young guys on this team. They drafted 11 rookies. They also have certain guys that are looking to take the step from year one into year two, like a Shaquem Griffin. But what we're going to be seeing during this preseason is really sort of how the sausage is made, so to speak. Okay. Because guys like Cody Barton and guys like DK Metcalf, these guys are going to shine, and they already have through the first week of training camp. But we already know that Russell Wilson is going to be your quarterback. We already know how good Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright are. Sure. They're looking for depth at certain positions, and there are open positions like starting nickel cornerback that are going to be open for competition on this year's team.
And Jessamyn, what are you expecting for tomorrow?
I mean, obviously, the rookies are one thing to watch, but like you said, the second year for Shaquem Griffin is something that's specifically interesting to me just because of the way that they're using him. They're using him off the edge a little bit because they're looking for pass rush. They don't necessarily have it right now. I'm looking for Rasheem Green to make a big step forward. You'll see him, big guy, number 94. Jacob Martin has been particularly interesting to me, or actually impressive, during this training camp. He looks really, really good. He is really quick off the edge. Cassius Marsh is back. I think that he has more than people realized he had to offer. And so the pass rush is going to be the most interesting to me just because they haven't been able to explode the way that they normally would. We had that scrimmage on Saturday, but you still can't hit. And that's where they need the most right now. They're known for their defense. You know, the LOB is dearly departed. We're not looking at that anymore. They really need to get physical up front.
Look at what you're missing from last year also. You lose Frank Clark, who goes to Kansas City. Frank had 13 sacks last year. You're going to miss Jaron Reed for the first 6 games of the regular season because he's suspended for those games, so he had 10.5 sacks last year. The next guy on the team that had the most sacks, just 3, and that was Quentin Jefferson. So some of those guys that you just mentioned are the guys that are going to have to step up to the table and get to the opposing quarterback.
Well, and speaking of quarterback, who's backing up Russell Wilson? I mean, for the first time, Russell Wilson will not be playing in any snaps tomorrow during the first preseason game. He's had at least 1 or 2 series in every single one he's been in since 2012 when he joined the Seahawks. And now the competition goes between Geno Smith and Paxton Lynch. We found out today that Geno Smith will be undergoing a procedure. We'll find out more details after the game on Thursday. So he will be the starting quarterback tomorrow, and then Paxton Lynch coming in and competing after that. But an interesting battle going on there of who is going to back up Russell Wilson.
For sure. You mentioned a few seconds ago about Russell Wilson being our #1 guy, right? So how are we going to protect him? Do you think the O-line's going to be able to do that this year?
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Then again, I mean,
knock on wood.
Year, right? So.
Right, but then this year, if you take a look at the projected starters along the offensive line, you're talking about 34 years of experience. Dwayne Brown is on the record, and he doubled up on this a couple times, saying we have the opportunity, the potential to have the #1 offensive line in the entire league. And this is something that we haven't heard in any capacity in talking about the Seahawks offensive line the last couple of years. They have a lot of experience coming in. They were tops in the league last year in the running game, averaged 160 yards rushing per game last year. There's no reason that makes any of us think, I don't think, that they're going to take a step back this season.
This is Mike Solari's world now, and we're just living in it. And the best part is we're basically not talking about the offensive line, and that's the best scenario, best case scenario if you're not talking about them. I would love to see Mike Iupati get healthy. I would, return to the first-round form, in which he was drafted. I think he's got that potential. He obviously has shaped up. He's lost some weight. He looks great. I mean, I don't even in his absence, though, they've got the strongest front under Pete Carroll's regime that I've seen, maybe since Russell Okung was here, but we're talking eons ago in a different era. I am 100% confident in this offensive line, specifically with the 3 position change, Justin Britt at center. I love him as the quarterback of this O-line, and I think they're going to be fantastic. I just would like to not talk about them.
Well, and that's something that this is the first time in how many years we've been like, oh, I feel good about the O-line.
We just walk by them at training camp. We don't need to look over there.
We're
Yeah,
not
they got their
talking
thing
about a
down.
converted defensive lineman playing center on this team.
That's
like
so
they did
true.
a couple of years
That's so
ago with
true.
Jared Smith.
That's
And
so
can
true.
can we give a little shout out to DJ Fluker, who's one of my favorite, not only
yes.
players, but personalities on this
Absolutely.
team. He is, I mean, he personality-wise reminds me of a defensive lineman. He is in there to fight. He will go up there against anyone. He'll take anyone to the water, as he likes to
And
say.
that's the attitude this offensive line has needed for so many years, and what they finally found identity-wise last year.
Yeah. We're going to have to leave it there, guys. I know we're all excited talking about the Seahawks. We're going to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Again, the first preseason